having decided in general to not be like a particularly normal or professional artist, there's a great liberty that you get of just caring about making things and not caring about them being about what they are and what and how they present themselves in the world. But I think you know you have to waste a lot of time sort of proving to everybody that something's worthwhile. Or if you liberate yourself from that, you don't have to do that at all. I think living creatively is like a really great privilege that our society doesn't really facilitate very well, and so we lose a lot of things that would make the world a nicer place. We think that doing stuff like that is for kids, or when you grow up, you have more responsibilities, and then eventually you get into a zone where you're like, well, I can't. I'm actually one of those people who can't draw, so don't ask me about drawing because I can't do it. And that's a real bummer because I much prefer looking at a drawing by someone who thinks they can't draw than someone who thinks they can. I mean, drawing's a great way of thinking and processing things, and so that's where it's a bummer that we've just decided to think about these things as the final product. When I draw, what I end up with is a shit drawing, so consequently I can't draw, so I'll cut myself completely off of this a way that my brain actually functions, and I won't entertain it because I can't do anything with it in this system that we live in at the end of it, without noticing that sitting down and drawing for 10 minutes a day would probably just be really lovely. Then that could be it. And crumple it up and throw it away at the end. The thing you did, though, was a nice thing. I think art making is a bit like what I presume people who are really like good at praying or like meditating is a bit like that.
Yeah.
You know, you sort the world out, but you sort existence out as you're doing it. Sometimes I think I've asked myself a very pressing question, but all I've said is how are you, and answered with a lie. I don't know why. Sometimes I need to be alone. I'm almost always every single song or painting or drawing or piece of writing is actually interconnected into a big web of things that started when we create this web of information, basically, and mine is filled with fucking weird paintings. I think of it as an ongoing and constant conversation with the universe that's not limited to my creative project. Right now, it includes a lot of football, playing chess, what I'm reading, like all of that. You start to suddenly you see like a weird theme, something that's popped up where you're like, oh, weird. Like I was reading this novel and this word came up, which came up in a song that I wrote 6 years ago, but just re-recorded. You're like, oh, funny. Like, that, like who I'm saying, funny to is just the universe, and it's just like part of this ongoing little chat that we're having. That I think is the thing to tune into more than the like little weird human-y things that happen with creativity, which is the buying and selling of it. That's just a tiny little part of humanness, which isn't a big part of the conversation. You know, I can get into a zone where you think that this entire thing has been a failure. This is not a success, you know, because it's easy to slip into capitalism. It's a warm bath. Capitalism is very comforting. So then you slip into that mind state and you think, well, this has been a big fuck up. And you're like, but I actually know people who have very genuinely like taken it upon themselves to make it very clear to me that the creative projects that I have done have affected them in profound positive ways.
Yeah.
And they love it. Like nothing about that was a capitalist transaction. That's not someone who's like, I'm really glad I bought this painting from you. Sometimes I think that it doesn't matter what people who are participating in this right now think, but possibly somewhere down the line, the audience for it is actually not on this planet yet, or they are aliens. I'm actually sending, little ideas out into the universe and sort of documenting the human experience to the something of my ability.
Oh, hi.
Wake up, lovely style, and see the future as something warm and normal with coffee. An obsessive focus on fresh flesh, thinking about that white satin sugar factory up on Lombard again. An inconceivable number of salmon on the bus today, but don't worry about the fish.